Hey, it's Aaron, Metal Theologian. So we're gonna do 5 random records today, out of the metal section. Easy, simple, all metal, pretty much, yeah. So it might be a little on the wimpy side. But I might pull some death metal too, you never know, right? Right now we're listening to this. I actually showed this briefly in my last video. I haven't shown this in a while. This is an awesome record. Taste of Iron. They're from Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Tacoma. Yeah, that's the band. That's the singer, too, sounding like this. It's rough, you know? You gotta dig that. Lorraine Gill, I don't know if she ever did anything else, but she's awesome on Taste of Iron. Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much all the songs on this record are great. There's an instrumental at the beginning of side 2 that's a little bit corny, but yeah, I hyped it in my last video and then I played it again. I was like, God, this is fucking good. I'm gonna play some of it this time, so y'all can get a taste of a Taste of Iron. Such a shitty band name, man. What the hell, you know? But I understand that, like, it can be hard to come up with a good band name. I mean, a lot of band names are bad, you know? I mean, including some of my, I mean, Led Zeppelin. It's a fucking terrible name, right? Deep Purple. Maybe my favorite band ever. Maybe. That'd be a long conversation, which would come to no conclusions, okay? But Deep Purple is not a great name for a band. That's even worse when you know the old song, you know? It's not as bad as Led Zeppelin, though. Excuse me, I choked on the soda. Led Zeppelin really sucks. What else sucks? And then Styx, okay? The name is actually kind of okay, but they suck. So, not that I don't have any Styx records, I just, you know, I have Styx records and also acknowledge the fact that they suck. Except for The Serpent is Rising. That record's legitimately good. And that's like my review of the Styx catalog right there. Alright, time to bust out the dice here. I have to remember how I did this the last fucking time. Yeah, I'm not the most organized person on the planet. Alright, man. So, 33 cubes, so we have the system. You can watch the old video. Basically, music gives 4-sided die and a 10-sided die. Oh, fuck it, I'll just explain it. Since I only go up to 3s in the teens, if I get a 4, that means 0. So if I get a 43, that means cube number 3. It makes sense. Just trust me. It's not like it matters where I pull the shit from anyway, right? It doesn't matter to you, but it matters to me because part of why these videos are fun to make is because I challenge myself a little bit, you know? It's like when you have a record collection like this, one thing people always ask is, oh, have you listened to all those? And it's like, most of them. I mean, almost all of them, and a lot of them many times, but once in a while there's one where I just don't fucking remember what it sounds like, and once in a while there's even one that I haven't listened to at all, you know? Occasionally, like, if I find a jazz record I've been after for a while, right? And, like, it turns up, but I'm in the middle of a metal kick, sometimes I'll just, like, file it away sealed. Because then, like, when I'm back on the jazz kick, like, a few months later, and I'm flipping through, I find a fucking sealed record, and it's like, oh, it's like Christmas, you know what I mean? So, it's not entirely accidental that, like, maybe I haven't listened to everything. But the point is, people are always like, oh, how can you listen to all that shit? Well, I actually know this shit pretty well. But, like, by doing this random shit, I sort of challenge myself, right? It's like, okay, what do I remember about this record, you know? So, it's improvisational, like jazz. And that's the most pretentious thing I'm going to say in this video, I promise. Okay, I got a 10. Alright, so it's going to be this guy over here. Oh yeah, also, just in case it's your first time, 8 cubes, no wait, 16 cubes here, 16 here, and the comps are on the top, so that's 33. Alright. I get a little closer, it's like I'm sort of hiding like I'm not wearing pants or something. I mean, that happens, but... Alright, well there we go, right off the bat. I want to say a reissue, but this isn't really a reissue. This is really, just like, oh, there's a piece of hair in here. So this is Gotham City, and that's what their first single looked like, which I don't have. That's like one of the, like, Swedish, like, mega rarities. I never went down the rabbit hole with Swedish 45s the way I did with UK 45s. And I want to say I don't really have any desire to. If I were gonna live forever and money weren't an issue, I would totally start chasing that shit down. But it's like you have to make certain choices when you're collecting, you know what I mean? What do I want to focus on and what not? That's why like all my like rare and original shit is metal, and a lot of that was organic too, because when I got most of this stuff you couldn't get reissues, you know. Now that reissues are out there, buy them. Keep the labels doing that shit in business, and like don't spend what some of these records cost now, you know? That said, if I came across a copy of this 45 for a good price, I'd totally jump on it. But yeah, so this is what the first Gotham City 45 looked like. This is a 12-inch that just came out within the last couple of years. Yeah, 2024. And it is the single... You know, I don't even know what the rest of the stuff is in here. I could open it up and look, but that kind of defeats the purpose based on what I was just saying. Presumably like demos and stuff. It's like really early recordings of these guys. And they made 2 like real records after this one. By which I just mean 2 records that weren't the original 45. Black Ritz was an EP, and then The Unknown, I think was the name of the LP. They had a different singer on the full-length album, who's like technically a lot better. But this guy Ola Olsson kind of has his own charm too. Like technically he's not a good singer at all. He's like really like noticeably bad. But like once you get into the groove of it, he's totally fine, man. And it's a fun record. So this is actually an example of a record where the thing came around while I was in the middle of a different kind of kick. So I did play this once or twice before I put it away, but not a ton. I can see it. This is definitely, if all you know is The Unknown. Here, I'll fucking show these just by an explanation here. Where the hell are they? Okay, so this one is like sort of a classic Swedish metal record. Gotham City. This is one with a better singer too. And I mean the cover's a little bit has a little bit of a new wave flair to it, you know. But this is also early, it's like 83 or something. Maybe it's as late as 84, but yeah, 84. But this one, you know, Swedish magic, you know, it strikes the right notes, it scratches the right itches. It does what it's supposed to do. If you like shit like Swords and Axes by Overdrive or hell, that first Europe record, that kind of shit, this record's a fucking banger. This one, Black Ritz, is also very cool, and it has some of that Swedish charm. But with Ola Olsson, it just comes off as having more sort of a demo-ish quality, sort of an amateurish sort of band. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, I'm not shitting on this band at all. Don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, it was a band that was developing. You could, like, write songs and, like, you know, all the cool things that you like about sort of classic metal and stuff, but sort of done by, like, guys who might be friends of yours down the street. You know what I mean? There's a real sort of, just say intimacy might be a little bit too strong a word, but it's sort of like, it's really relatable. You know what I mean? So obviously the first 45 with their signature song Gotham City was a lot more like that. And like I said, I think the rest of the stuff on here is demos, but I'm gonna leave it out to listen to because I haven't played it in a while. Clearly, I probably got that when it came out and filed it away. These I both listened to kind of a lot because they're great. All right. Gotham City. We're starting out with a bang, man. That's a good fucking record to start with. I mean, a good fucking band, I should say, since I'm copping not knowing the one record very well, right? I'd be a hypocrite. But I did really enjoy that record, even though I wasn't in the middle of a metal kick when I listened to it. I'm trying to remember. I've been listening to a lot of rap then, actually. So I went for a few years without going on a big jazz kick. I've been listening to a lot lately. All right, 9. All right, it's gonna be this guy. Oh, fuck. All right, this is a banger, man. Yeah, First Aid, man. This is a Russian band. Yeah, Skoraya Pomosh. There you go. If you don't like the translation into English there. And actually, want to see something really cool about this record? I mean, first of all, look at that cover, you know? And it's early enough that it's a Melodia, I think. I should see a logo on here. I think I'm wrong about that. Yeah, no, it's Russian disc. Okay, I lied. These covers on these Russian ones are always really thin and flimsy, so I have to be extra careful with them and shit. This band is like straight up metal record, but with a lot of sort of glammy moves. Like in a way that is sort of atypical for Russian bands, especially because, you know, one thing about the Russian stuff is there wasn't really any Russian metal to speak of. There's a little bit here and there, but you don't really start seeing shit until like, you know, 89, 90, 91, 92, into the early 90s in there and that sort of thing, just because of the way the politics were then, right? I mean, the government wasn't crazy about metal and shit like in most of Eastern Europe, but especially in Russia, or, you know, the USSR at the time. So as a consequence of that, this is my interpretation at least of the evidence, like everything that had sort of built up over the previous 10 years in the West kind of all came bursting out at once out of Russia. So like you have bands like this that are almost like kind of glam and sort of copying moves from them, and then bands that are basically just straight death metal like Front or I don't know, I want to say Holostoy Vystrel, but that's almost too they're almost too thrashy, but they're like really dirty and thrashy, you know what I mean? And then like Varvar is like thrashy too, but it has more sort of a punk edge to it. And then like New Testament, Novy Zaviet, I think it is. They're almost like Doom. And then like Joker is about the same time, and they're almost like full on glam or Formula One. So there's a variety of stuff, and it doesn't really follow the same sort of trajectory that it happened, the same sort of chronological trajectory as it did in the West, you know? So, yeah, this record's great. Yeah, Novy Zaviet. This one's almost like Doom. Super dark, apocalypse. They actually have another record here. This is an earlier one. I like the second one more because I sort of latched on to it. Oh, that's funny because this one, like Novi or Nov plus a suffix means new. So this is like New Earth, and that was New Testament. These guys are from Kyrgyzstan, I think, but in the USSR still. Anyway, different band, but kind of a fun one to show off. Anyway, here's a weird thing about this one, about this First Aid record. So you see that label? I don't know if they're all like this or if it's just my copy, so if someone else has this, you can tell me. There's like a tiny little sticker onto there. You see that skull? That's a little sticker. Like, I think you can actually see it in the video there. And then on the other side, there's that little Grim Reaper guy. And that's actually, it's really easy to see it. That's a sticker too. But yeah, it's like there's the regular label and these tiny little stickers on here. And I don't know if that's supposed to be side 1 and 2 or something, but like it says in the middle there, side 1, you know? So it's not really necessary. Yeah, so I've never understood why that's on there. Or like I said, if it's on other copies of this, because, I don't know, man. When I was buying this stuff, the Russian stuff especially, a lot of this stuff was really cheap. You had to pay to ship it from Russia. But, you know, it was pretty easy to just put together a big pack and grab a bunch of shit, you know what I mean? So, but because of that, this is the only copy of this I've ever held in my hands before. So, yeah, I really don't know if they were all like that or if it was just the one. Anyway, First Aid is a great band. And this record, Hellraiser, I very strongly recommend. They have one other record, too, which I don't have. I've heard it's good. Yeah, one of these days I'd like to check it out. Alright, let's go for the third one here. Man, 15 minutes in almost. You've only done 2 records. Jesus. I'm just like shoot my mouth off today. Alright, 25. Okay, 16, 20. That's going to be this one right here, so I don't have to move. Right on the end, by the way, too, so you can see where we are here. So I know there's some good shit here, but there's some good shit in all these cues, man. None of these are just like bad, you know what I mean? Alright, here we go. Alright. Right after I say that none of these are like bad, this one's kind of bad. Actually, this one's more just like glam. It's fine as glam goes. I haven't played this thing in probably 10, 12 years, honestly. Yeah. Co-produced by Don Dawkins. That sort of gives you an idea. I don't know, except I kind of have a soft spot for Dawkins. That almost makes you want to give this one a chance again, but... You know, it's a little on the early side for it because it's 84, but, you know, it's a band from Southern California who sound like a band from Southern California, frankly. Glammy. Here, I'll put it on for a minute just for the hell of it. Because I haven't played this so long, I just legitimately don't remember, so... I still remember the impression it left. You know, it's like the, you know, the adage, I think it's attributed to Maya Angelou, but, like, people won't remember what you said or what you look like, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So I remember how Shire made me feel, and it was kind of like... Alright, let's fire this up for a minute. Yeah, let it never be said that I didn't give Shire a chance. It's really kind of a shitty name, too, isn't it? Although Gotham City isn't really a great name either. I mean, it gets the job done. I'm not mad at it. But it's not great. God, this one needs a better inner, too. It's one of those flimsy plastic pieces of shit. All right, here we go. It's funny, it says Enigma on the label, but it doesn't actually say it on the outside of the jacket. It's like Rosa Records or something like that. I don't know how these deals work in Southern California, but there were a few where it'd be like some label you hadn't heard of. They had a distribution deal with Green World, and then their records just came out on Green World, so... All right, here we go. It's not off to a bad start. You know, part of why I put this on is because it's been long enough since I've listened to this record that my taste has kind of changed a little bit, you know? Like, I've sort of gone back and forth a little bit with how tolerant I am of this kind of glam stuff. And, like, I'm not really digging the singer very much, but I'm okay with the song, you know? So, like, if this hit me at the wrong time, I'd be like, oh, fuck this shit, man, I don't want to hear that, you know? But if I were, like, really in the right mood for something kind of syrupy, this would be fucking, I'd be all over it. I'd be like, oh, yeah, this rocks. And they just have a corny singer, you know? All right, 26. All right, it's right here. I don't even have to move. I'm gonna turn this down a little. It's still loud as the other one was. All right, 25. Here we are. Oh, fuck, man. Classic. I mean, do I need to tell you that Persecution Mania by Sodom is a great record? This is probably my favorite Sodom record. Like, okay, so my favorite Sodom record is really still In a Sign of Evil, okay? Because it's so sloppy and just so shitty. Like, I just can't not love it. But as far as, like, one that I'm actually gonna, like, listen to and, like, take a little bit more seriously as an album, it's really all right here, you know. This one, they really sound like more sort of like a fully developed band. I mean, they're playing reasonably well together and shit like that. There's a cover of Iron Fist right in the middle of side one, the Motorhead song. And it's funny, they did a countdown on Metallurgy a couple months ago now, I think. But people sort of complain about that, especially the placement of it. But I feel like this record, just like it starts and it goes and it doesn't relent and it powers right through Iron Fist, you know what I mean? Like, it fits right into the overall structure of the album, right where it is. And I actually dig it a lot. I'm usually not all that partial to covers. I mean, if you've been watching me for a while, once in a while there'll be a really great one, but 9 times out of 10 it's throwaway or whatever else, I wouldn't say that Iron Fist makes the album on here or anything like that, but it definitely doesn't detract. It just keeps it going, you know what I mean? Like it's like firing away and it just doesn't stop, you go, oh wait, that's Iron Fist, then it's on to Persecution Mania, and it's like still going, just like mimicking like a machine gun fire or something like that, which I suppose is in line with the image. I do go back and forth with these guys a little bit because, like I said, I love that first one. This one's fantastic too. Fucking Agent Orange. It's actually the last one I have. But then like Sodomy and Lust off this EP, that might be the best like riff. I'm not gonna say ever, but it's an amazing riff for Sodomy and Lust. Just mind-blowing. I'm obsessed by Cruelty. I mean, this one has the best cover, right? But this is the toughest listen in my estimation, and I mean, it's good, but like I feel like I'm being challenged more when I sit down and listen to that one than the other ones. I can just enjoy kind of effortlessly, So, yeah, those Sodom, absolutely fantastic band. It's funny to me, sort of looking back, because I lived in Germany for a while during the 80s when a lot of these bands were new and shit. And I wasn't necessarily hip to this stuff because I was young. I was aware of it coming out and that, but I didn't really develop a taste for it, get deeper into it until later. Alas, missed opportunities, right? But people talk about this big four of Teutonic metal, and I mean, I hate the whole big four thing anyway. Like in the U.S., it's like the biggest selling bands basically, and I suppose that would make it the big four, but it doesn't really. There's really no musical consideration there. You know what I mean? And so I kind of hate and resent it, to tell you the truth. I really think it's awful. When someone says big four, I cringe just a little bit, like I die a little bit inside every time I hear someone fucking say that, because it just seems like such a slight to like not only the artistry of like every fucking other band out there, like every other great band out there, never mind the mediocre bands that are also perfectly enjoyable, But it all seems like a slight on the bands themselves, like the big four, because you're saying, oh yeah, you guys sold the most, you must be the best. And it's like, I mean, Metallica, those guys are rich, I'm happy for them and shit, but like, just like, they made more shitty records than they did good ones, a lot more. Anyway, someone made up this big four of Teutonic thrash thing, which no one ever said in Germany, by the way. But like, I never even heard of that until like after I'd started my channel, this whole idea of like a big four German. But like, it's Destruction, Creator, people put in there, and then Sodom, which was not at all seen as the same level as like Creator and Destruction at the time. I mean, they had fans and shit like that. I had friends who were like into Sodom and shit, but they never had the respect that like Destruction and Creator did, at least not in the mid 80s. And then Tankard, when they came around, they were like a joke band, man, because they were just like singing about beer and shit. It's like people liked them, right? But it was like, you weren't going to be like, oh, is it between Destruction and Tankard? You know what I mean? It's like, no, you're going to get the fucking Destruction record. It's a fucking no-brainer. And like, if you have a little cash burning a hole in your pocket, you look at the Tankard record too, but... And I like Tankard just fine. When I started this channel, actually, I was kind of down on him still because of that. But Marty Worm actually talked me into sort of giving him another chance. And he was right, man. They were a good band. But just to pick those out as like the big four just seems anachronistic in that it wasn't seen that way at the time. And, whereas Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax were always at the forefront of the American scene, you know what I mean? When they were on indie labels, they were still big and very popular, So, when you had the likes of like, Living Death and bands like that were just as good as those guys in Germany, it's like, who are we kidding here? The big four thing, I feel like it's a shorthand thing too. It's like it's a way for people who don't know anything about the music to sound like they know a little about the music because they can name these four bands. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but you don't have to like impress me with that shit because it doesn't impress me at all. It's kind of stupid. And we can still be friends. We'll just talk about something else. You know what I mean? It's not like you have to know about metal to be cool. It helps. But it's totally not a deal breaker, you know? So don't fucking put on these airs and be like, oh, here are the big four. And I'm like, okay, what's the fifth metal band you've listened to? You know, oh, well. Iron Maiden. Great. Oh, 25. Same one. We're going back to the well here. So I'm going to try to pick another Sodom album. Shit, I really have to mix it up though because I can feel where the O's S-O was and I don't want to like... Alright, what are we doing here? Jack Starr's Burning Star. Dude, I stayed away from this record from the time it came out until about 2 or 3 years ago when Alan from Let's Talk Metal said, you know, dude, that, believe it or not, that record is really solid. I know it looks corny as fuck. I think even this one came out with a different cover at one point too, and it just said Burning Star. It didn't say Jack Starr's Burning Star. Not that I know who the fuck Jack Starr is, to be honest with you. I think he was in some Canadian band or something like that, or maybe it was Virgin Steel, but like fundamentally, not really, you know, a well that struck me as particularly deep, you know. But this record's it's really good. In fact, I'll throw it on for a minute since the other one I ended. And this is the fifth record, so I'll do a quick bonus one before we wrap it up here. Yes, that Shire record wasn't terrible at all, you know? I think Chromie D would be all over that shit. Merciful Metal would be all over that shit. And, you know, it's okay. It's enjoyable. There's a cover of Fire and Rain on this Jack Starr record. Yeah, anyway, I'm just not into the whole like shredder thing at all and the idea of buying a record because of a guitar player. I just completely alien to how I look at bands, you know what I mean? I like songwriting, I like riffs, you know, I appreciate musicianship, but I'm not gonna fucking, I mean, talk about shit that makes me cringe. Big Four, another one is shred. You know, watch, there's gonna be a ton of videos where people are like, hey, you hear this guy shred, is that gonna piss off the metal theologian? Huh? Yeah, it probably will, but if you ask me directly, I'll just say, no, it doesn't piss me off. You know? Anyway, I probably never would have bought this, but it's really pretty solid. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it's also not the most expensive thing ever. You know what I mean? It's for $20 or whatever, it set you back. It's an enjoyable listen, man, so. Why the hell not? You know? All right, let's do one more. All right, 29. Good, because I don't feel like having to move again. That's a pretty cool riff, really, isn't it? Like the way that, yeah. All right, 24, 28, so 29. Oh, well, here we go, man. Fucking the first Unleashed. I think this is the only Unleashed record I have. Yeah, because it's right next to Unreal Terror from Italy. Yeah, this is a good record, man. In fact, this is one of the death metal bands that I actually discovered when it came out. I had this on CD a long time ago. And I let go of all my CDs about 25 years ago. And then when I got into death metal again a few years ago, I rebought some of the stuff. And this was high on that list. This is a really cool record, man. It's just well put together. I like the songs, you know what I mean? I like the feel. And it, you know, it's rough and it's intense, but it doesn't lose the sort of musicianship, you know what I mean? Like, it's still an enjoyable listen. Don't neglect the other Unleashed, by the way. These guys. This one's kind of more my taste. I mean, just look at the cover. Yeah. These guys are from St. Charles, Illinois, which I suspect is somewhere not too far from Chicago, since that's where pretty much all the population of Illinois is. But I don't know. Anyway, it's a cool record, a lot more of like sort of a straight ahead metal record. It's 86. And actually, I found this in the wild. Come on. I had this press kit in it. Can you see that? And it's actually still sealed. Like, I thought about opening it, but I don't know if I were chomping at the bit to, you know. It looks like there's a photo in there and shit, but that's kind of cool. That's one thing about Ryan Records in LA is every so often you find something like a sealed press kit inside of a record, so. Alright, well, Unleashed, man, it's a good way to end, regardless of which Unleashed we go with, right? Although I picked the death metal band, Where No Life Dwells, so that's the official bonus record. The other one is just another record, and there's always another record. Which is why we all keep doing this shit, right? Thanks for watching. Totally appreciate it. See you soon.